Welcome to Labatt Buffalo Main Event. Bob Gaughan along with Brad Ryder. And coming up on today's show, Brad and I will discuss a big week for the Buffalo Sabres, the Mitchell Report, and also a little college basketball. But first, we start off with the Buffalo Bills, who lost their biggest game in years, only gave up 8 points. Brad, how do you only give up 8 points and lose that game?
It's really tough to make that happen. It's magic. I think this is a year in which the Bills have won without scoring a touchdown on offense, and now lost without giving up a touchdown on defense. So it's tough to pull off, but I thought early on in the game, and it really did show to be that way, that this was going to come down to a game about equipment. The trainers, the equipment guys, not necessarily the trainers, but cleats. Who's got the better shoes was going to win this football game, and the Buffalo Bills offensive line generated little to no push in this thing. 163 yards for Jamal Lewis is the difference in the game. Neither team could get much going on offense, but it's 3 yards in a cloud of snow, and which team could pull that off more effectively? That ended up being the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns win 8-0, and they outplay the Buffalo Bills, I think, in every category. Offensively, you mentioned Jamal Lewis. Defensively, I thought this was supposed to be the worst defense I've ever seen in football. Their defensive line looked pretty good, or the Buffalo Bills offensive line didn't do enough to push them around. Special teams-wise, this guy Phil Dawson kicks, a 49-yard field goal. The Bills give up a 35-yard field goal. He kicks a 49-yard field goal. And coaching, come on. Coaching to win or coaching just to survive and be around? And what I'm talking about is two calls in particular. One, 3rd and 8 with about 6 minutes to go in the game. They run the ball there and then don't go for it on 4th down. I was thinking if they did run the ball, that meant...
is a sign that we're using both downs.
Yes, the Bills are using both downs. And then, of course, the last play, you need a touchdown. I know you only needed 5 yards for a 1st down, but you really needed a touchdown because you couldn't get stopped. And they throw a screen pass. I thought the Bills coaching staff in general didn't coach aggressive enough game plan.
Well, another thing that we've seen a few times this year, about 5.5 minutes left, I think, in the game, and the Bills are down 8-0, punt.
Right.
From around midfield, 4th and 8 or something. You're in a situation, neither team is moving the ball really at this point.
You might need 2 scores there.
You might need 2 scores. You've got to get this thing done. You've got to get the thing into the end zone. To punt, just to me, reeks of giving up or cowardice in a game where you can have your playoff hopes eliminated, and that's what happened.
And also, how about spreading things out? I thought Trent Edwards, the last drive, looked pretty good when they spread the field, put Roscoe Parrish on the field. Why don't we put the best players on the field? I don't want to see Gaines and Royal on the field. I'd rather see Roscoe Parrish there, and I'd rather see the Bills. I thought it was kind of like the last Cleveland playoff game where the Bills, the no-huddle came out. I thought the spread formation in that last drive looked pretty good for Trent Edwards, and I was wondering, why didn't they do it more earlier?
Well, the weather was a factor there.
Yes, it was.
Late in the game, I was sitting in the stadium, and the skyline of the city was appearing and disappearing and appearing and disappearing. There were times when it was just unmanageable in that stadium. Late in the game, it wasn't. So it was a lot about the weather and their ability to do it. But if they were going to win that game, it seemed to me like the best way to do it was get the ball in the hands of a playmaker. It was about one seam and one missed tackle. I pictured Roscoe Parrish or Lee Evans or Marshawn Lynch, say, hitting a hole, getting one-on-one with a safety, putting on one juke move, Dalton Hilliard style in the John Forcade game back in the day, and putting somebody down, and then you're in a situation where a 2-point conversion can tie the thing for you. As bad as things were for the Bills' offense, they were one seam and then juke move away from winning the game. I want the players that can put those juke moves on the field in a situation like that where the weather is going to have that kind of an impact.
Brad, the second topic is, in spite the Bills don't make the playoffs haven't made the playoffs since 1999. Only one team has made it, further than that being the Arizona Cardinals. In spite of that, was this a successful season for the Buffalo Bills?
That's tough. 7-7, could be 9-7. I'll assume 8-8 right now.
Okay.
And
probably a good assumption.
Yeah, I refuse to call that successful, but it is at least a slight building block in that they're going to go into next year. I don't expect them to lose much. I expect them to build on what they've got. And if you go 8-8 with a rookie starting quarterback and a rookie running back and all of the injuries they have and add Paul Posluszny back to the mix, I think you're in a good spot to head into training camp with some confidence And there will at least be some buzz about this being a potential playoff team, as opposed to this year where only the most optimistic fans could have looked at it and said they're going to be in the hunt come December. I think come June and July, we're going to be talking about a football team that is in the conversation to be a potential wild card team in the NFL. And I guess I call that progress. Is that a success? Not necessarily, but I think they're in a lot better spot at the end of this year than they were at the end of last year.
A lot of injuries, as you mentioned, and a lot of key players, a lot of starters go down. So the fact that they are able to go 7-7 at this particular point, maybe go 8-8, does bode well for next year. I think there are a couple of positions, though, that they definitely need. One being maybe a defensive tackle to dominate that defensive line. Other thing, they need a number 2 receiver. I think that there's just not enough offensive weapons. Teams can take Lee Evans out of the game, and Roscoe Parrish sometimes doesn't even make it on the field, like against the Cleveland Browns. I think a number 2 receiver and a defensive tackle, and the players coming back from injury, and you can build hope for me. I think, yes, this could be make a run at the playoffs next year.
You want to talk about a number 2 receiver? Never was it more obvious or more apparent that the Bills were really could use something like that than on that last drive. When I'm looking around saying, good, Parrish is on the field. What's he, 4'2"?
Yeah.
Where is my 6'3" receiver or 6'4" receiver that every team in the league seems to have, or a tight end that's a real viable weapon in the passing game? They could have used a big man in the red zone yesterday, and I bet them they don't throw a screen pass on 4th down with the season on the line.
That's absolutely correct. One of their struggles in the red zone is not having a tall receiver, not having the Kellen Winslow type of tight end. Those things really do hurt you. That's a great point. Steve Fairchild is taking the head coaching job at Colorado State. A new offensive coordinator will come in here. How big of a loss is losing Steve Fairchild?
Well, I mean, they're not going to have the offense like they had yesterday or this week.
So it's a good thing you're saying?
No, I don't know. I haven't been blown away by what this team has been able to accomplish offensively. I think the line has gelled quite well this year. I think that's good. I think credit to Jim McNally there. I think the quarterback has developed pretty well, and I guess Fairchild is a part of that. I like where the running game is going. I don't know how much of an effect Fairchild has had on all of this, because I like the talent, yet I don't seem to, week in and week out, think, wow, good thing they had those play calls in there. Maybe 2 times so far this year. I thought, I really like the offensive game plan, and I think they really stuck to what they were trying to do. That's 2 times in 14 games so far. So I don't think it's a giant loss. I know Dick Geron will tell you it is. That's his guy. Some of the players certainly will, but I bet if you got them off the record, they'd tell you, we think we're going to be okay.
Continuity, it is a problem. You can't just keep on going from Clemens, Gilbride, Shepard. You'd like to have the continuity that the Indianapolis Colts have with Tom Moore and Peyton Manning. So maybe from a continuity standpoint, it'd be nice to get an offensive coordinator in here that does stick around for a few years. Coming up next on Labatt Buffalo Main Event, Brad and I will answer your questions off of our emails. It's the O Restaurant and Lounge email segment coming up on Labatt Buffalo Main Event.